Dear the American President, here is a letter we've written for you today. This simple letter is most likely what every American president has been missing. I wrote this letter not with anger, not with applause, but with truth. Because somewhere along the way, America lost its soul. Instead, it became obsessed with power, with dominance, with control. It had to forget what made it great in the first place. In fact, it is these simple things that will make America great again. It's about hard work, integrity, innovation, and freedom. These are some of the things that had made America great again. But this letter is not written to make an American president cry. Instead, it's written to remind him and every American citizen of what truly matters. It's not a speech, it's not a campaign. This is the brutal truth to America that was once great. But let's first take a small trip into the past. For many decades, America was one of the most completely untouchables. But fast forward to today, other countries like China have caught up, and sadly, America is lagging behind. But this letter for the American president is going to be a game changer. By the end of this letter, Americans will know what needs to make them great again. Further, they will discover the reason why they are lagging behind. But most importantly, America will get to know the best working formula for making it great again. But at least let's appreciate the efforts that have gone or that have been put into putting all this together by hitting the like and subscribe button. This is where the story begins, but let's first look at the areas where America has gone wrong. For years, America walked a path paved with illusions. It built bubble after bubble, .com after .com, the housing market after the housing market bubbles, cryptocurrencies. Each one promised quick wealth. Instead, they all had to collapse. Ordinary families had to pay the price. Homes were instead lost. Futures of Americans had to get shattered. Yet, somehow, the wealthy always walked away richer. This isn't greatness, instead it's betrayal. Further to add, America began bullying others into submissions, sanctions, tariffs. Remember, political threats, they don't matter at all. They actually don't build a country. But America had to stop leading by example. Instead, it started ruling through fear. But real strength isn't about forcing others to bend. It is about standing up tall to the point and make others wish to admire who you are. Further to stretch, the American government and its corporations have become addicted to short-term thinking. This has to do with quarterly profits, and these quarterly profits have become more important than the long-term stability. Politicians promise quick fixes. CEOs have just short-lived gains. No one thinks or bothers to plan for the 10 years ahead. But what is actually on the ground? Instead, what we can see, the world is changing so fast. Also, then came the wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Libya. Here, trillions of dollars were spent. Thousands of lives were lost. Promises, and as soldiers fought overseas, their own homes in America were falling apart. The same veterans who served had to return to homelessness and silence. Further, America poured billions into military dominance. Jets, bombs, military bases. But while the schools at home are crumbling, hospitals are getting overflowed, roads are getting collapsed. Instead of feeding the nation's soul, America is choosing to feed its guns and fists. Instead of lifting up its people, America is lifting up its weapons. But how else is America wrong? Instead of focusing on domestic growth, America is focused on expanding its borders. Take an example. Why is America so concerned about taking over Canada? Why is America so obsessed with buying Greenland? Why? Mr. President? Why is America wanting to be everywhere, all over at once? Its military is stretching across over 150 nations. Bases have been planted across the globe. But what is the cost of all this? What if those dollars had come home to America? What if those soldiers had rebuilt the broken towns? What if those soldiers had cleaned the poisoned waters and had restored hope where despair had taken root? But the issues of America aren't over yet. And behind the curtain lies the darker things. Sabotage, coups, cover-up operations and pipelines are getting destroyed by America, and leaders of other countries are equally getting overthrown by the American government, and consequently the world is turning chaotic just because of America. But the good news is that America can change its position and become great again. Although the big question is how. Well, in this next chapter, we are going to we're going to uncover the real practical and proven strategies that will surely make America great again. But let's first appreciate the efforts that went into making all this by hitting the like and subscribe button. Alright, now this is the true journey that will make America great once again. America needs to remember that greatness doesn't come from weapons. Instead, it comes from what is built. Therefore, it's time to build again. Not walls, not bombs. Instead, build a foundation that is going to build the country. The first step is to invest in what truly matters. Not speculations, not Wall Street tricks, but the real builders of the nations. But who are these real builders of the nations? These are the farmers who feed the people, the engineers that shape the future, the teachers who mold the young minds. To strengthen these things further, America must start funding value again. Here, we are meaning manufacturing, energy production, infrastructure developments, and the likes of medicine production. These are the kinds of investments that lift a nation, not just stock prices. Secondly, America must end the addiction to fantasy. No more bubbles, no more fake riches. The country needs stability, not gambling, but it also needs security, not speculation. It must return to the truth, and the truth is focusing on real productivity where value will come from. Further, America, its laws and policies must be structured to serve the people, not just the powerful. For too long, the rules have been favoring billionaires while single mothers can't even afford groceries at the supermarkets, and students were being drawn into debt. Veterans, Americans' obsession with weapons must stop. Factories should produce hope, not harm. There is need to create jobs that give pride. And then there is need to create industries that lift towns. America needs to remember that power isn't measured in missiles. Instead measured in meaningful things like how a nation makes its people feel. But this story is still going on. There is a fourth thing America must stop doing for it to become great again. America must stop the business of patrolling the world. Literally, why would troops be deployed across the world while communities back home are being forgotten? Children are drinking poisoned water. Cities are beginning to look like ruins. America needs to remember that the battle is no longer overseas. It's instead on the main street. Also, the battle is on the broken neighbors, it's in the empty factories and the abandoned dreams. America, get out of the world, come back home. Further, America needs meaningful trade. Instead of focusing on real trade, America seems to have just chosen to focus on manipulation. But the world doesn't need threats, it needs trust and respect. Further, to share, America needs to be reminded that partnerships are built on quality equality and fairness, not fear. Let others choose America because of what it builds, not because of what is able to achieve by bullying other countries. And perhaps most importantly, America must think beyond tomorrow, beyond the election day, and beyond just quarterly profits. It must think in centuries. It must plant trees that it might never sit under. Build railways, power grids, and institutions that will come and outlive the presidents and parties. This is legacy, and that's what really creates greatness. So, the path is clear. It isn't easy, but it's necessary. But allow me to read the last paragraph of this letter as the closing remarks to every American president. The current president, the future presidents, and the generational presidents that are yet to come. Dear the American president and the American leaders who will follow, this isn't just about policies. It isn't about power. Instead, it's about your common people, not the billionaires and alongside their corporations alone. To make America great again, there's need to start again, slowly, humbly, honestly, not by fear, but by being an example. Lastly, America has got the capability to stand for better things, but not for wars only. This simple letter is most likely what every American president has been missing. Yours sincerely, this channel. Ensure to like, subscribe, and follow for more. Until next time, for now, we wish you love, peace, and good health.